Hey guys, welcome back to the Design, Creativity and Technology channel. My name's Aaron. On today's episode of Fusion Fortnight, I'm going to be showing you the difference between bottom-up and top-down designing and introducing you to some basic joints that you can use with Fusion 360. This will be a little bit longer video than usual because of the complexity of it, but I've still chosen a simple design which I think you'll be able to copy and replicate in the comfort of your own home. Now the design I've chosen to do today is a toy that I found on the internet. Now it's actually an ellipse jig. It has two dovetail slides in it and two sliding dovetail blocks. Now by moving the crank handle, and if you had a pencil inside the jig, it would actually create an elliptical circle, elliptical shape. And by varying the distance away from that fulcrum point would give you different size ellipses. So let's have a crack at drawing this in Fusion 360, okay? Okay, let's get started with this top-down construction. Before we actually get right into that, let me just reiterate, see what's the difference between bottom-up and top-down. Now in a bottom-up, if you were taught back in the 90s or early 2000s or right up to the current times, you'd be pretty much used to bottom-up design, and that's where each file is created individually and brought into assembly and assembled all together. And you can see it's quite messy. And if you send someone the assembly and you don't send them all the other files with it, they can't open it and it's pretty much useless. Now the great thing about Fusion 360 is that it allows you to do what's called top-down design. And here's the ellipse jig that we're going to be doing today in the demonstration. And you can see this is all drawn in a top-down, one window, one file, and everything's here, okay? There's no need to, if I send this to someone, they've got all the information in one file. Okay, well let's have a crack at doing this today. So before we start, please ensure that you're in Z up. So go to Preferences and it will say here Z up. Also ensure that your units is in millimetres today. Okay, unless you're one of my lovely friends in the United States, well you may want to flip between inches and millimetres, it's totally up to you. Okay, so let's get cracking. New design, we want to click the ground plane. For rectangle, we're going to do a centre rectangle here. Snap to the centre, drag out, don't click to terminate, type in 150, tab, 150, tab, enter. Okay, E for extrude, click this, we can see it's a closed sketch because it's turned pink. We want to drag that up to 25 millimetres, tab, enter. Okie dokie. We want to click this front face here. Okay, click a new sketch, alpha line, and what we're going to do here now, we're just going to draw a vertical line. We're going to come out, down and across, okay? Okay, let's put some dimensions on this shape that we've just drawn. So D for dimension, and click on the bottom line, and that needs to be 12.5. Tab, enter. Okay, D for dimension, the top height now from here will also be 12.5. Tab, enter, and the angle from here to here needs to be 75. Tab, enter. Okay, so we need to click on this line and turn that to a construction line. I'm going to click sketch and mirror. We want to mirror these three lines here about this construction line and click OK. All right, draw a marquee over this now, and we're going to go Control C for copy, and we're going to save this for later. We'll need to copy this so we can use this at a later date. All right, we're going to grab the center little circle there, drag it down, and so it snaps to that top line. E for extrude, click that, back up into our home view. We're going to go negative, start to drag it in the negative direction, type in 150, tab, enter. Okay, we want to click the right face here. Click on Create Sketch. Now, do Control V for paste. And you can see that we've pasted this back in and we don't have to draw it again. We click OK. Okay, E for Extrude. Click this face here and drag that through to minus 150 also. Click OK. Alrighty, now this is, once again, I've started to teach you bad habits. As soon as you start a design, save it, okay? Don't leave it to the end. And thank you to my good friend Jeff Keane who pointed this out to me. So click save, and we want to make sure that it's going into our into the correct folder that you want to put it in. We're going to call this dovetail jig top down. Yep. Enter. So at any time my computer crashes or Fusion goes offline or I get a hiccup, I will not lose my design. Okay, now that my file's saved, I can actually convert this body into a component. Okay, and this is the start of the top-down process. So expand the bodies option here, right-click on the body, and I'm going to go create components. Now you can see it's popped out of there and it's called this component 1. I'm going to right-click on that and do a rename. Okay. Now simply you can do that or you can click on it twice and rename it that way here. We're going to call this dovetail base, enter. Alright, so we need to start drawing the actual dovetail sliders now. So we're going to go create a sketch. I'm going to zoom out to select this front window here. I'm going to turn off my dovetail body for a moment, just so I can see it. I'm going to go Control V and paste that sketch that I did previously. You can see here now, I've drawn it once. Why draw it, 3 or 4 times? We can just simply copy and paste it. Okay, now that I've moved into the correct position where I want it, E for extrude, come back up to this home view, click the face, we're going to drag it out to 25 millimeters, tab enter. Okay, we're going to view onto it in the top view now, select the top face, C for circle, and snap it at the top here. You can see the little X appear. As I come down, you can see the blue dotted line. I'm going to go over to the right hand side and pick up the center there as well. You can see that there the triangle will appear. Come to the center and it should snap. You can see the 2 lines are formed now. Click and drag, and the hole will be 5 millimeters, so 5, tab enter. I can drag that dimension out so you can see it a bit easier. Alright, now I accidentally moved that, so I'm going to have to reorientate this properly now. Okay, this will be 12.5. D for dimension, and from here to here will also be 12.5. So it's exactly in the center. Probably best practice to do this anyway in case you accidentally move it. Okay, E for extrusion. We're going to extrude that hole down now in the negative direction, and we want to go right through the part. So minus 25. Minus 12.5, not 25. And click OK, and we can just check that while looking through the top view that we are all the way through. Okay, let's put a thread inside that now. So click Create, Thread, click that face, isometric, the size will be 6 millimeters by 1 mil pitch, right hand thread, OK. And we just want the cosmetic appearance here. We don't want the actual modelled appearance for this exercise, that's fine. Okay, once again, we need to convert that body now into a component. So create component from body, and here it is here, component 2. We'll call this dovetail slider, and enter. All right, now if I turn my other body in, you can see it's buried inside here, but that's okay. I'm not too fussed about it. Okay. So what we will do though, let's copy this and make a second one. Okay. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit and right click on this one now. We're going to go copy, Control V. I'm going to pull the second one out. You can see it here now. I'm going to rotate this into a orientation that will help me when I start putting the joints in. It's not essential that I do it, but I like this is sort of good practice, so it gets you ready to assemble it later. And I'm going to stop that now, and there we have it. There's my 2 pieces ready to go. Alrighty, so you can see here I can turn it back on and turn them off. So I'm just going to turn these off for now. I'm going to create my next sketch. Okay, and we'll start. C for circle, and this circle will be 30 millimeters, tab enter. And we're going to create our next circle, C for circle here, and that's going to be 25, tab enter. Okay, D for dimension, we want to pick up the 2 center points. Okay, and this will be 175, tab enter. We're going to draw 2 straight lines now, tangential to these circles. So alpha line, zoom in a little bit here. I'm going to see, you can see here on my circle, when I drag around, you'll see the you'll see the point snap. That's where I want it. I want to snap it to here. Bang, got it. You can see it's come up with the tangential. Once again, that point there. I'm going to zoom in so it's easier for me to find. Bang, gotcha. Okay. Now, what we're going to do now is put some other circles in here as well. So, escape, C for circle. We want to just draw 1, 2 along that center line, 3. We're going to dimension one of them only. So, dimension this one, 6 millimeters, tab enter. And now I'm going to select them all and make them equal. Okay, so here we go. I pick that circle, hold down my shift key. Oops, again, escape, got dimension up there. Click that circle, hold the shift key, that one and that one. We want equals. D for dimension, let's dimension this one now. So D for dimension from this point to this point. This will be 62. Tab enter. Rightio. We need to trim this circle here and this one here. So T, the trimming tool is T for trim. If you're unsure of that, click down here, you can see trim there, but the shortcut key is T. And we're going to just clean this one up here. That one there. Okay, we're going to extrude this down, E for extrude, and click my body into my home view. It's going to go up 10 millimeters, will be the body. Start the drag. And okay, all right. So we need to save this now. So here we go. Our body, right click on it, create component, and it's component 3, and this is going to be crank handle. Enter. Okay, so we now have all our parts. I can turn them back on. You can see them starting to appear. All right, we've got a couple more things to draw yet. All right, let's draw the actual handle to turn this with. So let's click our create sketch. We want this front window here. We're going to draw a vertical line. We're clicking here. Going to go up 70 millimeters. Okay, now we're going to draw a spline. So from here, sketch, spline. Now this sketch spline here will just be free-handed. I'll zoom in a little bit, and it may take you a bit of a go at this to get the hang of it. And don't worry, it's a little bit challenging when you're first starting to do a spline like this, but you will get the hang of it, I guarantee it. And I'm just going to now see the green check handle come up. Once I accept that, that will terminate that for me. I'm going to go L for line now, and I'm going to start where I finished and then go vertical and to that line there. And you can see I shouldn't have clicked that line because it terminated it there. Okay, now I need to put some dimensions on this one here. So the width from that line to that line will be 3 mil, tab enter. The height we need will be 10 mil. So from there to there, 10 mil, tab enter. All right. We could probably make it a bit more than actually, make it 15, tab enter. All right, we need to escape, T for trim. We want to trim that little bit of crap there. What we can do now, we can use our points to fix this handle up to make it look a little bit more respectable. Okay, so I can just manually pull these around till I get the desired shape. It's not critical. Have a play with it. It's not a big deal if you can't get it the first time. It will take you a little bit of practice to try and get this looking nice, and so it's free flowing. And I'm sort of happy with that. I'm not going to fuss around with it too much. Stop sketch. We need to revolve that now, guys. Okay, so once again, we're pulling in stuff that I've already taught you from the previous videos that we've done. We want to select that profile, select the axis, will be that vertical line, and there we have it there. It looks a little bit ugly. I could fix it later, but I really don't care for the purpose of the video. Okay, once again, we need to create a component from that body. All right, and this is going to be handle. We might actually change the name of crank handle and call it crank arm. All right, so crank arm, just so we don't get too confused. Okay, I can turn all them back on again. You can see them coming in here. It's starting to get really busy, isn't it? Now, what haven't I done for a while, guys? I no doubt you're shouting at me through the computer screen here. Click save. Save. I can't stress it enough. Thank you, Jeff. I know I can hear you screaming at me in the background, believe it or not. And I'll turn some of those off. You can see now it's looking good. My computer seems to be lagging today since I've done the 2 latest updates of Fusion, and it's starting to worry me a little bit how much it's lagging. So I'm not sure if it's something I've done or something Fusion's done. Okay, so as you can see here, even such a simple project, it's really starting to get busy. All right, but don't let that throw you or phase you. We're going to draw some washers and the bolts now. So let's turn off our assemblies here, our components, sorry, and let's start. All right, you can click New Sketch, click this window here. We're going to draw a cap head screw. So alpha line, and we're going to come up, out, down, in, and all the way down and back. D for dimension. The distance from here to here will be 3, tab enter. Our overall height, so D for dimension, from this bottom line here to this line here we'll make it 30, tab enter. Our thread height, D for dimension, will be 20. Now you can cheat if you want, or it's not really cheating. You can go to McMaster Car and download a bolt, but I think it's more fun to draw one, and I think you learn a bit more by actually doing it. D for dimension, we want this top of this head. You've got to remember these are radius dimensions, not diameter, so that'll be 4.5. Tab enter. I'm just making this up as we go, so I'm not going to be too fussed about it, too phased about it. This one I think is a bit too long, so we might make him 26. Just take a look at it. That looks a bit better. Okay, so here's our making of our cap head bolt. What I'd like to do down here is alpha line. I'll put a little chamfer from about there to there, all right? And then T for trim, and we want to trim off that one and that one there, okay? Come back, stop sketch. We're going to revolve this now. Revolve, we want profile. This one here, and bang, away we go. Back to the home view. We want to click on the top of this head now, and we want to create a circumscribed polygon. It's got to have 6 sides, okay? So as you drag out here, you can see the number 6 appear on the screen. D for dimension, that to there. This will be 5 mil, tab enter. And E for extrude, we can extrude that down now in a negative direction. We'll start pulling it though. And want about 4 mil actually, -4. Click OK. Let's put some little fillets on these. I was lost for words there. This one here and this one here, and that's going to be 0.5. And tab enter. We can put the thread on this now. So we click the shaft, create thread, ISO 6 mil by 1 mil pitch. That's fine. Okay. I don't like the cosmetic look there. I'm going to actually model it. So edit feature and select modeled. And how cool is that, eh? Nothing I've ever used before could do that. I would have to draw that thread profile and do a sweep around helix cut, you know, whether it was in PTC Pro Desktop or SolidWorks, what I used to use previously. This Fusion just keeps blowing my mind how powerful it is, and yeah. Alrighty, I think I'm preaching to converted if you're watching my video. You can see body 5 here now. I'm going to right click on that and go create component from body, and there it is down there, and that's going to be called my 6mm cap head. Enter. It's probably 2 words, but 1 word's fine here today. We can turn that off. New sketch. Let's draw the 2 washers now. So C for circle. I'm just going to draw 1 big circle. C for circle again. Drag out. D for dimension. The inside dimension there will be 6. Tab enter. D for dimension. The outside circle will be 11. Tab enter. Once again, I'm just making this up in my head. E for extrusion. Don't click the middle. Click this donut ring here, and you're going to drag up to about 1.5. So type it in, tab enter, terminate. Alrighty, so there we have it there. There's our washer. So once again, we're going to convert that. So create components from body, and it's dropped down here, and we're going to call it our 6mm washer. Here we go. Now we need to duplicate this bolt, okay? So we're going to turn him back on. I'm going to right click, I'm going to go copy, I'm going to go Control V and drag it out, all right? I'll move it out of my way over here somewhere. Do the same thing with the washer. So copy, oopsie daisy, escape, that wasn't the washer, sorry. Same thing with the washer here. I should have my glasses on and take a bit more note. Copy, Control V, and drag that washer out as well over here, all right? And okay, all right, here we go. Let's turn these ones off now. Let's start to do the assembly. So I'm going to turn on my dovetail base. Now the very first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to ground the base so it does not move, okay? Once again, I can hear people scream at me, click the save button, guys. I can't stress that enough, all right? So once it's saving, it allow it time to go up to the cloud to populate. And here we go. Right click on the base and we're going to go ground, okay? And it's up here, ground the base, so it's not going to move on you. I want to put a dovetail slider in, and if I turn it on here, I'll turn the second one on first and I can get here now, all right? So, just set my mouse up, it's moved off the pad, and here we go. So we're going to click joint, okay? I'm going to select this one over here first, zoom in, touch the face. Now by holding the control key, I can snap, and if you're not careful, we'll see it goes the other way. I want to keep it in this orientation, hold the control key and snap it down to the bottom there. Come over to this one now, touch the face, hold the control key and snap it. Now you can see it's gone the other way, don't panic. There's a flip button here, click flip, click OK. There we have, there's our first one in, all right? Now we've got to change the joint. So when the joint went in here, if I go edit joint, you can see it's a rigid joint. See how it's made it rigid? We actually want slider, okay? Now we can okay that, all right? So now, this is going to be tricky to get the one out of here, but it's not a big deal to do, all right? So I'm going to turn him on, I'm going to turn off the base, okay? See that? It allows me to get it, all right? Joint, okay? Select this front face, zoom in a little bit. Once again, look at the orientation of my, it actually looks like an old centre of gravity symbol. I don't know the correct name for it, I'll endeavour to look it up next time. Hold the control key, now it will just snap to one of those points on the face I tell it to. If I don't hold the control key, see how it can go sideways on me? Okay, here we have it. I'm going to turn on the base, move it over a little bit, zoom in here, back onto this face here, hold the control key, and I want to snap it to that point there. Watch again, that point, and in it comes. Once again, it's upside down, click the flip button, and we're going to make that joint a slider joint. You can see the animation, all right? Click OK. Okay, so now we need to put some constraints on these joints, some limits. I don't want it to slide off here, okay? So the first one, I'm going to right click on it, I'm going to call edit joint limits. I'm going to select the minimum and maximum. This one here I'm going to type in negative 125, okay? And this one here, leave it at 0. And when I play that button now, you see here, minimum, maximum, it will only travel that far and it will not exceed it. Click OK. Go to my second joint, right click on it, edit joint limits. Once again, select minimum, maximum. This will only if you've selected a rigid joint, this option won't show. All right, got to make sure you select the joint that I've outlined here, 125, and the minimum will be 0 again. I'm going to play just to make sure I've got it correct. Yep, I can see, I can check that. That's fine. Okay, so there's my two joints there set up nice. Okay, we need to put the arm on now. Okay, so the crank arm, I can turn that back on by flicking the light. See, on, off. Once again, I'm going to turn my base off, and this will allow me to get underneath, right? So select joint, or free orbit wheel. I'm going to go around. I'm a bit old school. I like to get in the right orientation. Touch the bottom face, hold the control key. See how it's snapped to the center of that hole? Once I touch the control key, good. I'm going to go back to my home view. I'm going to turn back on my dovetail base. And this one, I'm going to snap it to this one here. So I touch the dovetail block. See, it wants to pick up these points. Once I hold the control key, it will slow down a little bit on me. Now, we don't need a slider. We need a revolute joint here, okay? Click OK. Now we need to pick the bottom hole here. So I'm going to turn the block off again, select joint. I'm going to free orbit over. I like doing this. Some of you are probably saying, why am I doing that? I'm old school. I like to get the right joint. Click this one here. Unfortunately, sometimes old habits die hard. Select on this one here. And we've got revolute, and we're happy with that. So now I can check this. And you can see here that, oh, look at that. Nearly spot on. I must have done this before. All right, beautiful. Okay, back to this home view here. Okay, so now I want to put in the handle over here. So here's my handle. All right, I'm going to turn off my base. I'm going to it wants to capture the position because I've moved it. Ignore it. I don't like capturing it, just jams up my timeline. Free orbit around, escape out of that, pick the center. See, I've touched that face, control key, I've got it. Go back to a home view, turn my base back on, top of the crank arm, control key, select it here, bang. I'm just going to leave this as a rigid joint. I don't really want it to rotate. I'll just tighten that up tight there anyway. Okay, I'm going to turn these off now. I'm going to turn on my cap head bolt, and you can see it's buried under there. Okay, I'll turn on the other one. Maybe I can get that. All right, so what I might do here is I'm going to leave the washers turned on for now. Sorry, one washer. I'm going to turn the rest of my stuff off here. All right. Okay, the washer is what I want. All right. So I'm going to click this one, joint. I'm not going to worry about free orbiting over here. I'm just going to pick the top up. Bang. The washer has to go onto the arm, the crank arm. I'm just going to turn my arm back on. I'm going to zoom out. And this washer is going to go here. And I can snap it on there. I'm happy with that. I'm going to turn my second washer on. Zoom out. Turn my arm off for a second. There it is there. Click joint. There's my second washer. Okay. Once again, snapping to the top. Turn my handle back on. Sorry, my crank arm back on. And touch the top here. Bang. Snap my washer up there. Happy with that. Going to turn my first bolt on. And once again, it's hidden under that crank arm. There it is there. So here we go. I'm going to select joint, sorry. I'm going to free orbit around this time. I want to get the bottom of that bolt. Escape, drag over, zoom right in. Click that bottom face, hold the control key and see it snap to the center. That's what I want. Back to home. Zoom in here. That's going to go on that top washer there. So top face and bang. Happy with that. Turn my second bolt on. There it is there. Free orbit around. Escape out of the free orbit. Zoom in. Maybe free orbit around just a little bit more. Escape. Joint. J for joint is the shortcut key. Bottom face there. We want that one there. Back to home. Here we go. Back on here to the center. And it's a rigid joint also. And we can turn our parts back on. And let's test it, guys. Here we go. You can see the joints are showing, and that looks a bit ugly. If you're worried about that, you can turn your joints and your sketches off, and that tidies up your sketch a little bit. And if I put in a top view, so it's a little bit easier to rotate around, you can see now that I've got perfect movement around here. All right. Let's zoom in a little bit more. And this, believe it or not, if you were to attach a pencil to the handle, this would create a elliptical shape pattern. Okay, save your design, guys. Well, that concludes today's video on Fusion 360. I hope you learnt something about top-down design versus bottom-up and some basic joints. I've got my whole family in the video today. You remember Mossy, the long-haired Chihuahua, and Zeba, the miniature Pom. And here's my beautiful granddaughter, Ailani. Say goodnight, Ailani. Bye. See you next time. Thank you.